Hello and welcome to Fletch and Sav, the best bits, live from BT Sports Central.
A great show on a big weekend of football with guests Paul Dickov, Harry Redknapp, Newcastle Stephen Taylor and Northern Ireland manager, the fantastic Northern Ireland manager, Michael O'Neill. Enjoy the show.
You've said this a couple of times on the show recently, Harry, that you don't get time anymore. No. But when you think of the players that have left, the core of his team from last season, Ron Vlaar, Fabian Delph, Christian Benteke, got to give the guy time.
Absolutely. I mean, they're key players. They've not, you know, they've brought players in, but they couldn't replace the players that have left, really. And he needs time. You need, 10 games it's impossible. But when, as we've said before, when Mourinho comes under pressure, after 6 or 7, 8 games into the season, anybody can't they? It's ridiculous.
Did you ever go into a derby as a favourite for Man City? Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Now people think City should win.
Yeah, and that's the big difference over the last 5 or 6 years. Before that, it was a great game for us because everybody was expecting United to win. So whether it was at Main Road or at the Etihad or at Old Trafford, we could go there and enjoy it. Don't get me wrong, first and foremost we didn't want to get beat and we wanted to try and win the game. But when you're playing against Beckham, Scholes, Andy Cole, Teddy Sheringham, all that lot, and they were winning Champions Leagues, Premier League titles, everything else. But for us, we just wanted to go there and upset them, and get right in their faces. And if we got something out of the game, it was great. But nobody expected us to get anything, whereas now, City are going into these games expecting to win. What
would your starting 11 be in a combined Manchester 11?
How concerned are we with Wayne Rooney? I mean, we've done the teams and he's not in ours. He's not in either of the combined Manchester City 11. And a lot of them coming through on Twitter, he's not in those either.
Well, you were in Moscow.
Yeah, and he was quiet. He was very quiet in midweek against Moscow. And he's been very quiet, hasn't he, Paul, in lots of games this season. He's still only 30, but...
Well, I think he's a top player, first and foremost.
Still right up there for you?
Yeah, for me, he is. I think the influence he's got on Manchester United and England is massive, just in being in the pitch. Talking about his lack of goals and lack of chances, he's playing that number 10 role as well. If Martial's playing up top. So he's not going to get as many chances, but I don't think there's any need to worry with Wayne Rooney.
Any worries for you, Harry?
No, he is a fantastic player, but he has been very quiet in quite a few games this year. I watched the...
He's been uncharacteristically... I can't say the word. Uncharacteristically quiet in terms of his energy levels as well. He's not buzzing around the place.
No, he was everywhere, wasn't he? He was, he was one of those players that never stopped, a little bit like Paul. He was always after you and never give you a minute's rest, would he? And when he never had the ball. But I found he sort of drifted in and out of games a bit this year, but... Yeah, he's got great ability, there's no doubt about that. It's a great time for Man United to play City, because of the key players that are missing. The two players that can make the difference are not going to be there, Silva and Aguero. So I think United have got a great opportunity this weekend. It's a great time to play Man City, and I think Man United for me, would be favourites.
When you come and sign for Newcastle United and you play in these kind of derbies, in Newcastle, some people live in Newcastle on your way to training. A lot of foreign lads have been there. They think it's Newcastle supporters in their car. And there's people sticking fingers up, reminding them of the score and all that. And it's something new for them, and they have to understand that, and they have understand that now. And I think going into that game this weekend, we can't accept a 6th defeat, and it can't happen. For us, it's massive. Like Bobby Robson mentioned it in so many documentaries, it's more than just 3 points. It's massive for us. I think the whole bragging rights around the city. You go into work on a Monday morning, you want to be able to say to everyone there, you've got the bragging rights again. Let's
have a look at Jurgen Klopp, because he's been in charge for a little bit over a week now. He's had the 2 games, 2 draws. Harry's got a grin on his face. 0-0 at Tottenham and then 1-1 in the week against Rubin Kazan in the Europa League.
They were clapped off against 10 men.
Yeah.
And if that was Brendan Rodgers, they'd have got hammered. And see if you can have a guess who our Coutinho as well. He's on the screen for you. There he is. I'm sure if you recognise him.
Eliminated any kind of quiz.
Have a guess if you can think who Mick Harford was.
My lip had gone completely split through and I had over 120 stitches in my lip. And that was on, I'll never forget the date. It was on the 5th of November. And it was an horrific clash, but that's the way it was. I gave it out. So, when you got hit, you had to take it.
The job he's done is just to not because he's sitting here. I mean, I first came across or worked. Obviously knew Michael from years back, but he was at Shamrock Rovers when I was at Tottenham when we played him. And I knew then that just having met him that he had. I felt he had something about him that was going to. And it's the difficult, after the Euros, I'm sure there's the Northern Ireland people are going to have a job hanging on to him, because there's got to be loads of people, clubs are got to look at people and look at the job he's done and think, my God, this fella's, he's good. And when you look at even the coach of the year, I don't know whether it's just come out. I think Arsene was in the top 10. I don't quite know how he got in there in this top 10, but. You know, who's done a better job in football than Michael's done? Yeah. He's got to be banged there when they pick the coach of the year next time around, surely.
What's it been like over there since you qualified?
It's been fantastic. You know, it's been crazy, really, in terms of just what it's meant to the whole country. You know, like there's a whole generation of people in Northern Ireland. You know, '86 was the last time we qualified, so who have never seen Northern Ireland, you know, take part in a major tournament, and. You know, it's great to give people of that, you know, that experience. 82, 86, you know, I was 10, 11 years old at that time, so I can remember it. But so many people have followed Northern Ireland for years and not had the chance to go to a major tournament. And, you know, you were concentrating on that throughout the qualifying campaign, because with each game and each set of games, you know, it becomes a more realistic proposition, and then the sense of disappointment is greater should you not make it. You're always looking over your shoulder, because we're always kind of, you know, we're always ever just an injury or two away from, like, you know, being a little bit more vulnerable in terms of the strength of our panel and the strength of the squad we have to choose from. So it was a fantastic achievement by the players to obviously win the group and to qualify.
Paul's on the magic sofa.
Well, we've got this sofa. Managers usually get a job after they've been on it. Got to get back in. Looking to get back in?
Yeah, I was 6 weeks. 6 enjoyable weeks as well. Just reflecting and chilling out a little bit. You know, there's a couple little things that have come up already that have not been quite right, but now I'm desperate to get back in. It's a bug. You know, when you're in a job as a manager, you moan about the hours you put in and this and that, the other thing. But when you're out of it, you can't wait to get back in. And
there's some breaking news here. I'm 200 to 1 to be the next James
No,
Bond.
you're not.
I am.
Are you?
I am 200 to 1. What's this? My name's Savage. Robbie Savage. That's it for Fletch and Sav, the best bits for this week. Hope you enjoyed the show.
Remember to keep your tweets coming into us during the week at Fletch and Sav, and we'll see you next Saturday, October the 31st, live from Stamford Bridge for another huge game. Chelsea versus Liverpool, Mourinho versus Klopp. Who's going to have a Halloween nightmare?